Welcome to First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, the birthplace of congregational humanism. We carry on that tradition of free thought today, dedicated to promoting a free search for truth, meaning, and justice. Our web address is firstunitarian.org. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Well, first of all, I want to say how happy I am to be again performing a couple of pieces for you this morning. And I'll just quickly introduce the music now of both pieces. So the first work that I will play, it's a work by a Spanish composer, Manuel de Falla, and it's called Aragonesa. And what I find particularly interesting about these pieces, and the reason also why I'm playing this one, it's because how Manuel de Falla incorporated like folklore elements from Spain, which in itself has a very rich history of music, because it has, of course, influence from the Arabs, from the Zigan tradition, and also like other traditional styles that are combined together. And how he took all these influences and mixed them with, I would say, with a little bit of Impressionism, of French Impressionism, and that's very fascinating. And the second piece that I will play at the very end of the program will be by Claude Debussy, Poissons d'or, which means golden fish, which actually comes from a Japanese print that Debussy had in his house, where it shows two fish swimming kind of in a circle, you know, like chasing each other. And I think that's very well portrayed in the piece. The reason why I'm playing these pieces, and I wanted to just give this brief announcement, it's that later on this year I will be recording my very first CD. Thank you. And what I'm doing, I'm centering it around Manuel Ponce, the Mexican composer, which I have performed quite a bit here, and European composers who deeply influenced him. So you will get a little bit of that today with Manuel de Falla and Debussy. And of course, part of this program that I'm doing of recording also includes a recital, which most likely will be organized here at FUS later in the fall. So anyway, I hope you enjoy them.
Well, welcome to First Unitarian Society this Sunday morning. Just a little hazy out there here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Whoever you are, from wherever you come, you are welcome here. Whomever you love, however you define family, you are welcome. The identities you hold, how you want to be called, your pronouns are respected and welcomed here. Whatever the color of your skin, the language your grandparents spoke, the cultures that you, that move in your being, the abilities and disabilities you hold, we welcome you. I'm glad you are here because it is always good to be together. And as we are here together in this magnificent land that is the cultural, spiritual, and indigenous homeland of the Dakota Iote, we offer gratitude to them and to all the peoples who have cared for and continue to care for this land where we now make our home. Let us pledge ourselves to work for reconciliation and reparative relationships. This is work we need to commit to, no matter what. First Unitarian Society is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, and I'm Shelley Schreffler, a member here at FUS, and I use she, her pronouns. And today, we welcome Reverend Terri Burnor, Executive Director of MUUSJA, which is the Minnesota Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Alliance. And she also serves as the St. Croix Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Wisconsin as their minister. And Terri will explore the connection between love and justice. The rumbling, pulsing, thumping nature of love powers justice. Our actions speak, but how can we meet the moment by answering love's call even more loudly? If you happen to be new with us this morning, please join us for our weekly mini meal in the lower assembly hall after the service. And if you'd like to connect more, stop by the office to sign up to receive our newsletter so that you can be in the know about what's happening here. And we are a multi-generational community, and today is another summer Sunday in the park with FUS. Our youngins gather downstairs each Sunday, heading out together for some fun and exploration. And youth of all ages are welcome, and you can check at the front office for more information about the schedule and permission slips. And of course, there is always room for families and kids here in the assembly hall, and we welcome your movements, your sounds, and if you so choose, childcare is down the hall on the left as you exit this space. So now I invite all of you, wherever you are, to take a moment to welcome the morning and to greet those around you and introduce yourself to those you don't know. And for those of you here this morning, you can wave at the camera and to greet those online. And there is also a QR code on the screen to access the order of service. So welcome, everyone.
Good morning. I bring you greetings from MUUSJA and the diverse constellation of congregations, communities, and partners that we work with in Minnesota and beyond to shape a just and loving world. In the spirit and celebration of the multi-community, multi-faith, multi-expressions of our humanness and our meaning-making, I share these opening words by Dana Edwards. Revolutionary love. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my faith. My faith that our collective love, united, can drown out the evils of empire and hate and greed. Together, we create a love energy more powerful than any force of oppression. Because when two or more people are gathered side by side, arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, the force of love ignites liberation. Revolutionary love calls us to know ourselves deeply, see God in the stranger, find beauty in the imperfect. Revolutionary love calls us to find the divine in dirt, the holy in the heartache, and the sacred in the scars. Revolutionary love calls us out and then back in. Revolutionary love calls us to be better and to do better. Revolutionary love calls us to heal and hold each other, because none of us would be here if it weren't for our faith in one another.
So as Jackie comes to light our chalice, I invite you to read with me the words on the screen. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work, living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Well, now that our flame is lit in our hearts, in this space, and wherever we are gathered, let us speak our congregational covenant together. Love is the spirit of this place, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. So now I invite you to stand in body or in spirit as Jane leads us in singing There Is More Love Somewhere, number 95 in the Gray Songbook, and the words will be on the screen.
First Unitarian Society is a congregational humanist community. We are here for each other, our neighbors, and our planet. And our one manifestation of that is our caring team. My name is John Welsh. I'm a member of that team, and we're here for you. There's always both joy and hardship in our midst. If at any time there's something happening in your life that you'd like to share with the care team or with this community, or if you need some support, please contact the FUS office or send a note to Joys and Concerns at firstunitarian.org. You can also be in touch with us using the contact form on our website. After the assembly, you're all invited to stop by the card basket downstairs to send a note to folks you're especially thinking of today. This morning I share that Dodd Wilson celebrated another birthday on July 10th. Several FUS members and staff were about to celebrate with him. Happy birthday, Dodd. Yeah. Elizabeth Benson asks for healing thoughts. She has some sores that are not healing and is scheduled for surgery. We send her our love and our best wishes for a full recovery. We continue to hold in our hearts the people of Texas who are grieving so many tragic losses while at the same time trying to clean up from the devastation brought by the flood. And while peace talks continue, the people of Gaza and the people of Ukraine continue to try to live amid all the terrible impacts of war, displacement, and hunger. Love is at the center of our faith. We take this time that we might connect with our shared humanity, to embrace and celebrate the beautiful range of human diversity, to commit ourselves to showing up for those who need support, and to remember all who are suffering here and around the world. In the following moments of silence, let's reflect on all the joys, losses, griefs, and milestones in our lives, in the lives of those we love, and in the lives of all beings everywhere. A moment of silence.
Our reading today is Love is Loud by Chad Snyder. Love is loud. Love, says the Old Covenant, is the spirit of this church. Love, the spirit of our church. I hope so, because love has things to say. Love is joy and laughter, giggles and silly love songs. But love speaks, too, to the real pain in the world. Love knows. It knows hate and fear, selfishness, greed, bullet and blade, the cutting edge of indifference. Love knows, and love does not let us turn away. It does not rest in thoughts and prayers. Love knows the names, says the names out loud, and it will keep saying them until the day we hope against all that is holy, those names no longer need saying. Love is loud. Love clamors. It applauds. It shouts down and fires up. Love calls to the margin and, not waiting for the echo, chases its voice to that margin in song and joyful noise, in apology for hurts caused, shifts the center until the margin isn't. Love does not suffer the suffering of others in silence, but resonates in silent space held for another's story. Love is the spirit of this church. If we choose it, give it voice. And if we make that choice, then in the noise, in the raucous joy and wailing pain, righteous rage in the resonating silence, in the cacophony of beautiful voices and possibilities, through all that holy racket, love will guide us.
Well, usually at this point, we would listen to another beautiful piece of music played by Amos, but this morning we're going to do something a little bit different. So we have a video from the Texas UU Justice Ministry, a sister organization of MUUSJA, and of Parker Woodland performing the Holly Near song, I Am Willing. I invite you to stand as you are willing and able and join in singing along. The words will be on the screen.
To be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is a hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is a panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world around. But I am open
Friends, for months I have been singing this song by Holly Near. Thanks for your willingness to try to sing along. I've watched this particular video dozens of times. Its scenes are from the state of Texas, but I think the themes are universal. Same legislative buildings, same people coming together, same wearers of those yellow Side with Love shirts, same heartbreak and the same ways that we come together. As Shelley shared, this was produced by MUUSJA's counterpart in Texas. We are 2 of 24 UU state action networks, 24 and growing, who are organizing for justice. And I am particularly delighted to be here at First Unitarian Society because you have been with MUUSJA's journey since the very beginning, back when the M of MUUSJA stood for Metro, the Metro UU Social Justice Alliance. And then we grew and became Minnesota, and you have been with us all the way. So thank you for that. To borrow some of our opening words, statewide networks like ours are organizing to drown out the evils of empire and hate and greed, and to bring collective love, united love, revolutionary love to meet the fresh hell on earth that is upon us right now. We are living in a time that is dehumanizing and cruel, that uses fear and intimidation as a means of control. The hell we're in right now goes against all of our UU values, goes against religious concerns with humanity's welfare, which the Reverend John Dietrich, who you know well here at FUS, suggested was a commitment that presumably all religions had in common: the care for the humanity's welfare. Yet Christian nationalism and fascism and the unrepented and unrepaired legacy of colonization and slavery and genocide have eroded this foundational care for the diverse and beautiful array of humanity and for our earthly home. Those on the margins, people who hold particular identities, are reliving old betrayals, are feeling just the latest version of history repeating its harm. This isn't an unfamiliar round of evil, but the compound denigration and intense pitting of people against people, the disregard for even basic human dignity, carries particular trauma for us all. Reverend Jen Butler, the founder and director of Faith and Democracy, wrote that cruelty has become a liturgy for this government. And so the question before us is, what is the countering liturgy for us Unitarian Universalists? For all people of conscience and those with a religious or spiritual or moral compass that points to interconnection and to interdependence and diversity. I believe it comes out of the center of our values, living love out loud in public and across all parts of our personal life. It's choosing, because yes, we have that pesky freedom and responsibility to choose. It's choosing to live into revolutionary love, choosing to live into the full and messy and embodied covenant of love that is the spirit of this place, our liturgy, and our lives. The first time I truly experienced the communal, rumbling, joyful, encouraging, life-giving, and life-sustaining sounds and energy and vibrancy and liturgy of this big love, this loud love, was at the UUA General Assembly in Phoenix, Arizona, back in 2012. Justice GA, as it was known. Were there others here that were with me in Phoenix in 2012? Couple hands, yes. This version of loud love, and to be clear, there are many versions, emanated in the glow of radiating lights and the wearing of bright yellow shirts that declared ourselves a people who will always side with love. It rang out in songs and chants, and by our very act of showing up, our presence there in that place. And to illuminate this event more clearly, I want to share the story directly from a beautiful article that was published in UU World. They share it so wonderfully. And their story goes like this. On one June evening, following a day with triple-digit heat, thousands of arms still raised but holding battery-operated candles glowing against the black desert sky. Wedged together, shoulder to shoulder, more than 2,500 people sang, prayed, and shouted, "Shut it down!" at a visual outside the notorious Tent City Jail in Phoenix, Arizona. By a vote of the delegates 2 years before, the Justice GA was to have minimal business to make room for public witness against the culture of cruelty against immigrants in Arizona that is spreading across the United States. At Tent City on that Saturday night, inmates behind the chain link fences of the outdoor jail could hear UUs and community members. Newspapers around the world ran photos of people in yellow standing on the side of love t-shirts that we wore back then, waving candles in the dark. Tent City is a complex of outdoor jails created by Joe Arpaio, who calls himself America's toughest sheriff. Parked beside the entrance was a black tank emblazoned with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office logo. Beneath concertina wire on the chain-link fence, a sign said, Tent City, 19 years, 437,946 served time. More than 40 busloads of people from the convention center stretched out along Durango Street outside Tent City. Each bus had a chaplain aboard who led songs and reminded people of the peaceful nature of the event. Many stopped off their buses in the midst of dueling protests, with about 100 Arpaio supporters bearing American flags and Way to Go Joe signs, facing local protesters across the street, with our placards demanding arrest Arpaio and shut down Tent City. Down Durango Street, drums and songs filled with night air. The folk duo Emma's Revolution let us keep on moving forward in English and Spanish. Keep on moving forward. We're gonna keep on moving forward, never turning back. Never turning back. UUA President Peter Morales, our first Latino president, was visibly moved by the thousands of peaceful protesters. Hold up those lights one more time, he beckoned. Those lights have to go back to Alabama, Missouri, Massachusetts, Oregon, California, he urged. Morales echoed his own words from the opening night celebration when he said that Justice GA was just one chapter in the struggle for migrants' rights. The true test, he said, will be what UUs are doing 3 months from now and 5 years from now in their congregations and communities. Will they keep their candles lit back home? So here we are now. That was in 2012. Here we are now. Now we have Alligator Alcatraz. We have Nazi flags flying. Just the other day, I have friends who told me that they saw them in Egan and Apple Valley. Nazi flags. We have polygraph loyalty tests going on at the FBI. We have ICE raids, and on and on and on. No one here has not been touched in some way by this escalation of cruelty, in this rise of fascism that seems sudden, but has been building for a long time. We bear witness, and we also are directly impacted by what is happening across our country. That was a lot. So just breathe for a minute. Breathe. Because while it is absolutely overwhelming and scary and a lot, and the way forward seems daunting, we are not helpless. We are not without power. We are not without coming together in the tens and thousands and millions of people in revolutionary love. Our candles are still lit. We are here, and our faith, our values, our commitment to justice means we will not allow this to come to pass. We will not forsake those who came before us. We honor these feelings, and we can center down, borrowing words from Howard Thurman. We can center down into the strength of our greater covenant and into the mighty, mighty, mighty force of love. We rise up by telling and hearing and seeking out the stories that lift diverse identities, complicated and hard histories, different perspectives, life experiences, and truths. We choose connectedness and compassion. We choose to be a blessing for others. We choose to recognize the strength of knowing that we are not alone. We show up for justice, grounded by the stories that we learn and share, because it makes a difference when we cry out in loud love, "My liberation is bound up in yours." None of us are free until we are all free. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. These aren't just empty words. These carry the weight and history of revolutionary and radical love that is in our very beings. And it makes a difference when we gather in spaces like this, in circles of gratitude and care for one another, breathing in peace and breathing out love, declaring ourselves open and willing to be lifted up to the light of change. This is how we build a long-haul movement with a scope and scale that is truly transformational, when we transform ourselves moment by moment, day by day, in the spirit and power of love. We organize across our communities. We have clarity, resilience, courage, and conviction, and we keep on learning, keep on connecting, and keep on taking action together. When we are rooted in care, and when we are grounded by our values, when we lift up the stories of when we are loud, loud, loud with our love in all parts of our lives, here on Sundays, in our homes, in our workplaces, with our families, with our friends, with our neighbors, that is who we know who we are with and who we are fighting for. We can live our loud love loudly in so many different ways. By advocating for political change with our legislators and elected officials and policymakers, and your active voices work does this so well and is a great piece of this work. We join marches and vigils, boycotts and direct action. We respond to deeper hardships and needs within our communities. We provide financial resources and mutual aid. We provide sanctuary and community defense. We fortify our community well of care, connectedness, and compassion, and we put more love and goodness and kindness into the world. My experience in Phoenix in 2012 had a long-lasting impact on me, and it broke open my willingness to be changed, my willingness to be uncomfortable, my willingness to do something I had never, ever, ever done before. It was a particular kind of loud love that was a catalyst for me. And it's only part of the way that I live and practice and rise up. And so the question before you is, what is the catalyst that can bring your love forward, not just in those flash moments, but in the steady, everyday ordinariness of life? Because loud love is not measured in decibels. It is in kinship, in the volume of our commitment, our intention, in the volume and the bigness of our heart and solidarity that we amass when we are in relationship with one another. Loud love isn't singular. It doesn't come from one booming voice. Loud love can be a sustained note of sustenance, of meeting a moment, meeting a need, a hunger, and an ache. It is dynamic and challenging. It's not just heard, but it's perceived as an animating and cumulative force. And here's the thing. This road we're on might not be a highway to hell, but it's certainly going through a whole lot of hells that we won't be out of anytime soon. So if we keep screaming our love, we have to open our imagination to find all of the ways that our love can be loud. My colleague, the Reverend Sean Neil Barron, asks of himself and asks of us, is being on this particular outrage treadmill actually training us for the marathon we're in? Or are we practicing sprinting when what we need is the long, steady burn of people who know how to last? Maybe the real rebellion isn't keeping up with every fresh hell. Maybe it's choosing where to pour your finite heart. Maybe it's saying that I see you when we mean it, and staying quiet when you need to breathe. Loud love is cutting through the noise, blocking out what's unnecessary, and finding stillness and focus. Muting just enough and just often enough to hone in on what you need to find or pay attention to or invite in. It's cutting through the noise of our own fear or desire to control and cutting through our colonized imagination that makes us small and quiet. Amidst that clutter of noise, can we find and feel and know and believe again and again in active hope, in beauty and wonder, in connection and all that is life-giving? Can we hear our heart? Can we hear the whisper of our breath? And can we hear the rumbling of readiness and resistance in all of its forms? Because big love, at all volumes, transforms us and changes us. This is the kind of love that the musical trio Brother Sun sings about. Love is the water that wears down the rock. Love is the power that won't be stopped. And so we whisper, we shout, we sing, we breathe, we share, we listen, we cry out, we hug it out. We put words on signs, we make noise with art. We knock on doors, deliver food, provide shelter, and sometimes, for some of us, we put our bodies on the line. This kind of love builds and builds and builds until the clamor of all of us, of the multitudes of us, of the loud love embodied in a multitude of ways by all of us, becomes a collective loudspeaker of connection, courage, compassion, joy, and liberation. Love is loud, my friends. It is the clamor that comes when you and me and all of us do the myriad of ordinary tasks of blessed presence, of brave direct action and street taking and phone calls and organizing and being with each other that brings us together. Love is the animating center of our faith, declares our UUA president, Sophia Betancourt. Far more powerful, she says, than any faction, leader, nation, or creed. It is this fierce love that compels our deepest loyalty and our most courageous action. And it is this love that moves through and between us, enabling us to nurture wisdom, guidance, courage, and grounding in ourselves and one another. I don't know how many times I've said it in this talk, but I'll say it one more time. Love is loud. Will you say it with me? Love is loud. It is mighty. It is powerful. It is revolutionary. Love is loud. Love is loud. Say it again with me. Love is loud. So be loud with your love, my friends. Let it bring a fierce love to everything that we do. Let us know that we all have a role to play. And if you have any wonderings about what role that might be for you, come see me after this. Let's talk and find a path forward, because we all, every single one of us, can find some way to live our love loud. Some way to stretch and grow and meet the moment that is before us. Let us care for one another and care for this precious world, its people, and the life that sustains us all. Let us move forward together in revolutionary love and be changed by it. May it be so. So now, we're going to sing. We're going to rise in body or in spirit. Jane is going to lead us in singing Love Will Guide Us. It's number 131 in the Gray Songbook. The words will also be up on the screen. Love will guide us.
Oh,
month, usually on the third Sunday, we choose an organization or cause to support through a special collection. Today, that organization is Headwaters UU Fellowship in Bemidji. As you may know, the community was hit hard by a devastating storm in June with hurricane-force winds. The city declared an emergency. And while the fellowship's congregational building was not damaged, the extent of the damage and long-term cleanup is overwhelming. And Terri will share a few words with us about what's needed.
Thanks, Shelley. So I have been in many conversations with Jennifer, who is the president of the board of Huff. And she shares the deep grief that this community is experiencing. Bemidji is near Itasca State Park, near the headwaters of the Mississippi, and if you know that part of the Northland, you know the dignity and beauty and immense vastness of the tall, tall trees that make up the identity of that place, that is that place. And these trees and this home and this livelihood of these people who make that their home are just lost right now. One person at the Huff congregation has 75 downed trees on her property. They need cranes to lift the trees off their septic systems. Insurance doesn't cover this kind of cleanup, and nothing can really meet the grief that is upon them. But they were so glad and heartened when I reached out and said, we can bring UUs across our state to support you. Let's do a mutual aid campaign and tell your story. Let people know so that you know that you're not alone. That in and of itself was so lifting for her. About 30 people in the congregation have this degree of loss and cleanup that they need to deal with. And this is a community where very few people make over $100,000. This is a huge hardship to be able to figure out how to move on. So thank you for your generosity. Thank you for showing a way that big love meets those of us in the cities with those in northern Minnesota. It really, really matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Terri. And we're happy to do what we can to help the Headwaters congregation. And today's collection goes entirely to them unless you designate your donation otherwise. As the baskets are passed, we invite you to give generously and joyfully as you are willing and able. You can also give online, where you can choose to support Headwaters or this congregation more generally. The QR code on the screen will take you to our online giving form, or you can go to our website, firstunitarian.org, and designate how you'd like your donation credited. And of course, you can stop by the office or mail in a check. So thank you for your generosity. Well, and now on to announcements. So a generous donation has made it possible for us to contract with an agency to do a marketing campaign with the goal of spreading the word about FUS using attention-getting messages. And if you didn't get a chance last Sunday, or if you want to hear about it again, members of the FUS marketing project team are doing a presentation today in the Dietrich room, right across there, at 12:15. And if you would like to join by Zoom, please contact the office for a link. And due to not enough registrations, we have decided to cancel plans for a full week of Protest Song Summer Camp in August. However, we are offering a free one-day workshop for kids in grades 5 through 8 on Tuesday, August 19th. So please check the Friday update for more information. We would like to get registrations for this one day by next Friday. So are you interested in helping make FUS and our greater world a more inclusive place? On Saturday, July 19th, Outfront is back at First Unitarian for another training in a series of LGBTQ+ equity and allyship. Come to the Dietrich Room for a 5 to 6:30 p.m. workshop. Trainings are appropriate for all ages, and childcare will be provided. If you are someone who is deeply engaged in social justice work here, or if you are seeking meaningful ways to get involved, you are invited to attend the upcoming Meeting the Moment Lab, which is a series of gatherings designed to cultivate resilience and spark new possibilities for action. There are 3 gatherings planned over the summer, and the first one is next Sunday, July 20th, which will focus on resilience. That's here in the Upper Assembly Hall from 12:15 to 1:45. And again, there'll be more information in the Friday update. Kids and families are invited to join staff next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. for another youth field trip to neighborhood parks. Printable permission slips can be found as hard copies in the FUS office. And you can also join us at 5 p.m. that evening in the Chalice Room for another round of our popular monthly child and family dinners. The entree will be provided, but appetizers, desserts, and drinks are welcome. Remember, that's next Sunday. If you're not here in person, please go out and enjoy the rest of the afternoon, hopefully by sharing some time with friends and family. For those of you here in person, please join us downstairs for a mini meal. Today, we eat simply so that others might simply eat. Come enjoy a surprise mini meal menu that's loaded with compassion, simplicity, and generosity, as well as actual food. Funds collected for today's mini meal go towards our efforts to provide a free second Sunday dinner at Plymouth Congregational Church for those in need. And please give generously. So now, as we close, let's thank everyone for their joyful and capable participation. Our incredible staff, the tech crew, the cooks and their helpers, our greeters, Jackie, Val, Jane, John, Amos for his wonderful music, and Terri for sharing her words with us this morning. So let's extinguish our chalice. So as Jane comes forward, please join me in speaking the words on the screen. Oh, all right. Not the words I thought, but we'll go with these. Though we extinguish this the flame, we do not extinguish the names that shape us, nor the truths we are still becoming. The chalice remains within us, a symbol of faith made tangible, a wisdom carried in story, in silence, in speech, and in every act of compassion that calls us by name.
Friends, let us go forth in peace and in courage with these words commonly attributed to John Wesley. Love as much as you can, by all means that you can, in all ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, as long as you can.